Okay, hello from Daytona Beach. It's bad weather, hurricane coming, winds and waves everywhere, so I'm going now to hide into poker room. See you. Hi friends, Mr. Vegas reporting after Heartland Poker Tour main event in Daytona Beach. That's my favorite, one of my favorite events to play, Heartland Poker Tour, any event. And on my recent one, in April, playing at Majestic Star Casino, I took 18th place out of 270 people. I had high expectations for this one, came prepared to Daytona. I came 10 days before the main event starts, played some satellites, qualified through satellites, and didn't have much luck in a main event. I think luck is really crucial. I flopped some nice hands, but got beaten on the river most of the time. So that's for this time. Played about 5 hours in main event, which is not much. We started with 30,000. If I didn't play any hand, I could last longer. But that's for this one. Interesting thing from the tournament, I was playing Friday night, the satellite qualifier for the main game, and I noticed somebody came into cashier window. There's a big crowd there. Do you have a card, player's card? We can give you a card, some story about that. I look, skinny guy, who's that? Familiar face. I look again, well, the guy from the cover of a magazine, David Chino Rheem. I'm just sitting there and reading the story about him winning the epic Professional Poker Players League just a couple of weeks before that, and he walks here in the casino. Amy Duke was also there, Annie Duke and Greg Raymer. Greg Raymer had a training session on Thursday, but I just forgot about that and missed it completely, and I planned to attend it. I was really interested to hear him. Main event started with two groups. I played first group on Saturday, 9 o'clock. I sit at the table. Well, let me tell you, 10 minutes later, next to me on my left, the big shot, Chino Rheem. He sat down. I couldn't believe. I said, hey, do you remember 3 years ago in the main event when about 79 players left, you took my friend Bob with 7 deuce and Bob had pair of jacks? What happened? Flop was 8-6 deuce. Bob bet 450,000. Chino Rheem pushed all in. Bob normally called, and Chino catches second pair on the turn, takes Bob out. Bob finished 79th with $77,000. Chino made the final table and he finished 6th with 1.7 million. 2 weeks later, he also won Doyle Bronson's Classic. That was about $5.5 million prize. So in November of 2008, he got about $3.5 million. Combined with this recent win on the Epic Tour, he had about 6 million career wins. But there's article saying that he's broke. At the cashier's window, when he was cashing out his prize on Epic Tour, there was big crowd. All his creditors came to collect. He handed out absolutely every penny from his prize, and he's still broken. Chino Rheem at the table was immediately on my left, and I talked with him a while. Didn't want to bother him much. He was playing really loose. You even cannot say aggressive. He was just throwing chips in a pot, and sometimes people fold because they didn't hit anything. He also didn't hit anything, but people mostly folding. If anybody stays in a hand, it was almost guaranteed a win because he played absolutely every hand and he took cards. I asked him, hey, what's your folding rate pre-flop? Is it like 3% or less? I was small blind, he's big blind. We played a couple of hands in those situations, but I didn't want to back out. And later in the game, he kind of gave me respect and didn't attack me much. There was a hand I pick up in a small blind. I look, ace jack. Ace jack, not much, but I know that he doesn't have more than let's say queen 3. So my plan was to kind of trap him there if I flop something and let him try to bluff me, maybe hoping, you know, make a good pot there. Well, what happened? I raised pre-flop to 1,000. Big blind was, I think, 400. I made it 1,000 pre-flop. Chino raised 3,000. Just the fact that he raised to 3,000 told me that he has nothing, and I knew I have him. Now the question was, is he gonna be lucky like against Bob and, you know, catch runner 2 pair on me? Flop came king queen 8. Well, I have their possible gut shot. I need 10 for a straight, or but I didn't believe that he had any of these big cards. As a small blind, I checked. Chino made a bet. We had yellow chips, but I used these white chips. They were representing 1,000. So he made a bet of 3,200. I was 100% sure that he missed that flop, and that my ace must be good, or my jack is better kicker. But at his bet, I decided to play a game. Well, Mr. Vegas always has his ways. I said, raise 5,000. I know it's not a proper raise, but I did it on purpose. I just wanted to see his reaction, and I was really disappointed. He reacted like I don't know, unexperienced amateur in some $20 bar tournament. He started complaining to dealers, such a basic thing. I was just waiting for dealer to tell me to complete the raise, you know, give ruling, which happened a couple of minutes later after big noise. So I made it 6,400. Chino looked for a while, checked his hand and said, can you beat pair of 9s? I just marked my hand, didn't want to show it. Somebody else would probably show it, enjoying a bluff or something, but I knew that I was good. After that hand, like I said, he didn't try to put any moves on me. Previous, and it was in a beginning of the tournament, like 5 minutes in a tournament, I had ace queen, flop top 2 pair, ace queen on a flop. I checked, and that is where I missed the bet actually, and he checked. Turn brought a second club. Now that would be possible, you know, backdoor flush. Then I bet, Chino called, river was again club. Well, I was pretty sure that the only thing that kept him in a hand was that actually club, because there was no betting on a flop. So on a turn, I was suspecting that I was beaten. I checked. Well, he called, bet 6,000. That was early in a game, and it was a lot. I knew that he actually wants to be paid, representing like maybe some kind of bluff, because it's a big bet at that moment. Blinds were only like maybe 25-50. I wanted to check to see his hand. So I said, I call. I told him actually, I had to pay you off. Call. I paid him, and he showed his hand. He had 2 clubs. So I let him catch a runner flush. A bit later, I got pocket aces. I won with that hand. Not much, but I won. Flop was 6-6-10. I don't know, but on a turn I decided to go all in. So the guy made a bet, I went all in, and he folded. Next hand, immediately I flopped set of 4s. That's the second pot. Now I was back to my 30,000. Then about maybe 20 minutes later, I had pair of sixes, flop quads. I checked the flop, and then I bet the turn. I checked the flop, the dealer bet. I just called. I bet the turn, hoping that he has overpair. Flop was like 6-6-3. Turn was 4. No draws except maybe straight if you have something. I was hoping he has overpair because he raised pre-flop pretty good, and I called his raise with pair of sixes. I was hoping maybe pair of queens, pair of jacks. That's why I bet the turn, but he folded. Then even Chino Rheem told me I should check. Well, I said that's how old people play at bar tournaments. I don't play that way. Mr. Vegas has his game. Well, Chino had luck, and in first maybe 45 minutes, 1 hour, he more than doubled up his stack. He went up to 70,000 in chips. I was hoping I'm gonna get into hand with him because he plays really loose, so he may double me up. That was my hope, and then didn't really have a real hand except that one that I played with him. Those two hands I played with him. He lost couple big pots, and he was down to maybe about 15,000. Came a hand when a player on his left went all in for 25,000 pre-flop. The guy down at the other end of table, he went all in also. Third guy wanted to call, and he folded what actually later was winning hand. He folded pair of sevens. There was 7 on the flop. He would have a set, and but he folded. Came to Chino. He had king 10. He was down to 14,000. So he decided to gamble just to go for the pot. He called with king 10, flopped the king, and won the pot. So he got there about 40,000, and he was back in business. Maybe an hour later, he busted out. Then I had like really back-to-back 2 bad hands. I had ace queen. I flopped 2 pair. The old guy across me, he was calling my pre-flop raise, my flop bet, my turn bet, my river bet. River was a king. He had ace king. He rivered the 2 bigger pair. I lost huge pot there. But next hand, I had a pair of jacks. I raised, and I raised good. One guy went all in. He had a little more than my raise, so about maybe third more. So I had to call that. He had aces. My jacks not good. So I lost those 2 big hands in a row. I was down to about 16,000. Big blind at that moment was 1,000, so I was waiting for a good hand to go all in. Next came 8-7 of spades. I went all in with that and busted out. It was good experience. I'm glad that I played with Chino Rheem, one of the better and most aggressive or famous players. In this tournament also Annie Duke played and Greg Raymer. They went into second day but then busted out after, and the final table was made all of Florida players. The winner was some car racer who said he's going to use his 160,000 that he won for the first place. He's going to use it to fix his car for the next season. Tournament was a good experience, and next Heartland Poker Tour for me is November 6th in Tama, Iowa. Hope to see you all there.